To your HIMediaTV news update, I am your host, and the Supreme Court to hear free speech case over government pressure on social media sites to remove content by Melissa Quinn from CBS News. The Supreme Court on Monday will be weighing whether the government crossed a constitutional line into censorship of lawful speech when it pressured social media platforms to take down content it deemed misleading. The case poses a significant test of First Amendment free speech protections in the digital age and stems from the Biden administration's efforts to pressure social media platforms to remove content that it had said spread falsehoods about the COVID-19 pandemic and the 2020 presidential election. The Supreme Court is set to consider at what point the federal government's attempts to protect against misinformation on social media crosses into censorship of speech that is constitutionally protected. Quote, the key free speech issue is how far the government can go in verbally arm-twisting private speech intermediaries to remove speech that constitutes a First Amendment violation or state action, said Clay Calvert, a law professor at University of Florida, who is an expert in the First Amendment. In addition to the social media case known as Murphy versus Missouri, the Supreme Court on Monday will also hear a dispute on whether a New York financial regulator violated the NRA's free speech, as I see the NRA's free speech rights when she pressured banks and insurance companies in the state to sever ties with the gun rights group. At the core of both cases is so-called jawboning, or informal pressure by the government on an intermediary to take actions that will suppress speech. In the first dispute, intermediaries are the platforms. In the second case, intermediaries are insurance companies. In both cases, quote, the government doesn't actually have the power to regulate speech or decide whether the NRA can access banking institutions or not, says Will Duffield, a policy analyst at the Libertarian Cato Institute, adding that the government is seemingly gathering, and then usurping new powers by leaning on these intermediaries in order to do things it isn't authorized to do itself. So let's be fucking clear here for a second. The two things that they're going after here are A, COVID misinformation that got a lot of which that could be directly tied to the death of over 1 million American citizens. And second, an attempted coup by far-right reactionaries. Functionally, at the end of the day, and the second is the NRA, which has been as a lobbying firm whose talking points and political opinions have led to the continued death of American citizens, particularly children, all across this nation, and increasing the acceptance and availability of guns, which increases death by criminals in this country tenfold. Here's the thing. While I hate all of the COVID misinformation, I hate all of the people that were tried to coup the United States in 2020, and I hate the NRA, I don't think that the government should be able to do this, and I am tacitly thinking this is it's bad for, like, I'm siding with the plaintiffs in this case. Plaintiffs being the NRA and the people and the Murray versus Missouri. Yes, I know. But my thing at the end of the day is I know that whatever the government uses to suppress right-wing speech is going to do by 10 to left-wing views, because functionally at the end of the day, right-wing views don't actually fuck with the money of the rich and powerful that much. They suck, but you know what? At the end of the day, business owners get to keep their businesses so long as they are part of the in-group, and most business owners are part of the in-group, so it doesn't matter. Left-wing people want to make rich business owners and shareholders pay poor taxes, so the average American citizen can have a higher quality of life. And unfortunately, that cuts into corporate profits, which is against the status quo, which intelligence agencies do not like. They like preserving the status quo. So, you heard it here, folks. That in this very particular case, I, Evan from HIMedia, agree with the National Rifle Association. Jawboning is bad, and the government shouldn't be pressuring people for like mandating speech. I do think on some level that the government, shouldn't consider the protected speech of those who are, trying to, get rid of democracy and constitutional protections and like a free speech in the first place, just because those are the types of people if you're like, why protect like, why would you like the leopard eating your face? But why would you, want to? You're against, fucking leopards eating your face. So why are you letting, a representative of the leopard eating face party try and, run in a system that they ultimately want to take down? But that's neither here nor there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to your HIMediaTV news update. I am your host. Please go check out all our stuff on HImedia.gg, including a donation button. And I will see you guys next time.